Got it. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Sean, and I am an IT security consultant at Ace Cloud Hosting. Ace is a specialized cybersecurity solution provider. We will talk in detail about our products and offerings a little later after our presenter has, taught us enough about cybersecurity. So stay tuned till the end. Today, we're going to gain insight into the latest cyber attacks and optimal cybersecurity best practices with our leading cybersecurity consultant and ethical hacker, Rizwan Shaikh, who is presenting this webinar on Revive Your Organization's Cyber Defenses. Before we jump into the presentations, all the attendees who have questions, please keep them with you for now, or you can send them on the chat box and we will address them after the presentation is done. Our presenter today is the founder of Pristine Info Solutions, who specializes in providing training and services for cybercrime investigations related to information security. He has been conducting ethical hacking training for more than 7 years across the world. A man with experience and exceptional expertise. Without further ado, let's welcome him. Rizwan, over to you.
So thank you very much for the wonderful introduction. Hello everyone. My name is Rizwan Shaikh, and we have a very typical profile of calling ourselves a cybersecurity expert and naming as certified hackers. So this term sounds exciting to many, but let me tell you, a good cybersecurity expert is the one who actually knows the other side of the attack as well. So today, all the topics that we have decided to cover will include the attack portion, the defense portion, and a small part of countermeasure and precaution measures of it as well. So I will be beginning my session with a small presentation, but everything that we are seeing in the presentation will be performed live on my screen. So temporarily I'm going to disable my webcam, but my screen sharing will be enabled and you can hear me every time. In case of any query, any questions during the session, you can definitely use the chat box, the question box, as well as if you can speak up, you can definitely raise your hand. So I will be beginning with my demonstration. So here I open the presentation which we have made for this particular training. Okay, on your screen, you can see it's a cybersecurity awareness webinar that we are conducting. The topics that we are going to cover majorly will include 3 things. The first one is about social engineering attack. The second topic that we are going to cover includes malware and ransomware attacks. And by the end of our session, we are going to study about certain big hacks that happened in the recent time. What is the reason of that hack? Whose mistake was there? And what should have been done? So beginning with social engineering. The word social engineering refers to the weakness of human psychology. It is basically communicating with someone in such a way that the person himself shares certain confidential or sensitive information. Let's see the example of social engineering attacks. We have given around 4 to 5 different examples. I am pretty sure many of you might have been targeted by any unethical person, or somewhere you might have definitely encountered 1 or 2 social engineering attacks against yourself. So it includes multiple types. The first attack that we are talking about is phishing. The term phishing refers to a similar login page. For example, I will be simultaneously opening my another window where I can type few of the things so that you know how exactly the thing works in the real time. I'm just increasing the font size so that it's clearly visible on everyone's screen. Now suppose there is a website which I am typing. It is a very famous website. It can be gmail.com. Now what I can do is, if I want to create a phishing site, I will register a very similar looking domain name which may be looking like something gmial.com. Of course, this domain is not available, but just for an example. Just by having a typo, what I will do is I will create a very similar looking website on my fake domain name. So it's like the original website gmail.com, the UI UX interface which it has will be replicated and hosted on my fake domain name. Anyone entering username password on the original website will go on the original server. Anyone entering the username password on my fake website will come to me. This is a very simple and basic example of phishing. So in phishing, attacker sends a link asking for financial or any other login information. If you end up clicking on it and entering your credentials, you end up losing it. The same way, we have something known as phishing. Now, as the description says, the attacker tries to convince the victim over a phone call. There have been very common crimes that are happening, especially demanding OTP, that is one-time password over a phone call. So a fraudulent person may call you saying that he's calling from your bank or from your credit card department, and he will convince you to share the OTP which you have just received. If you share that, you may end up losing your money or any other stuff. Similarly, there are few other social engineering attacks. As the word says, you can definitely go through it, but let's jump on the part of the actual technical things which I will be displaying. Phishing, the way to perform includes multiple ways, which also has an email as a medium. You can see a screenshot which we have given in this presentation. It's a phishing screenshot. The mail is being sent from a random email ID which looks like support@instagate-media.co. It is not from instagram.com, and what it shows the message as your Instagram account detail has been changed. Please reset your password here. If you click over here and enter your credentials, it will come to a phishing page and you will end up losing it. So there can be varieties of ways to do this. If you talk about countermeasure, you have to cross-verify few of the things. The first thing that includes is carefully watching where are you entering your credentials. Rest all the countermeasures include some of the basic stuffs which you should be alert of. However, let me give you another example of this particular thing. Now suppose there are two links. I am just typing the link in front of you. So the first link which I type includes something like this. Let it be any of the famous website. Let it be people.com. Now I am typing another website which is this. Over here, if you see one of the link is phishing, the another would be real. As you notice over here, the first URL has the domain name as google.com. So no matter what is written after the first slash as a page, the credentials or any info that you are going to visit this link and enter will go only on this particular server. However, if you see the second link, it has a domain name which is abcd.abcdinfo.in. Creating as many subdomains as you want is possible. For example, I have a website which is abcdinfo.in, so I can create xyz.abcd.info.in. I can create abc or anything like abc.xyz dot something something. I can also create com.abc.xyz, and I can create google.com.abc.xyz and so on. Just by adding two subdomains with any famous domain name doesn't mean now the credentials that you're going to enter will go to this server. No. So you always have to cross verify the domain name inside the link. The link can be a very big link. It may have 20 such subdomains. So keep on watching the big link, but always try to find the first slash, and just before that you will get the actual domain. Always cross verify what domain is that, and based on that you can definitely find out whether you are becoming a victim of any phishing attack or not. Coming to another part, if we talk about phishing, always cross verify who the caller is. Never share any sensitive info over the phone call. There are few versions of phishing as well, which includes SMSing. It's basically a keyword which is not very famous or a known reputed keyword, but it's been derived in multiple ways. So it's not the actual word of this particular crime. However, SMS or WhatsApp message is being sent to the victim with a fake phishing link. If you end up clicking on it or following the steps which is mentioned over there, you may end up losing your money or credentials. Countermeasures or key points to check that you do not fall victim to such type of attack is: number 1, find out the sender's number. Number 2, check the website link. If you see the link over here in the PDF file which we have given, has a Walmart link, but it's a fake domain name registered with similar name. So always cross verify the original domain name. Unknown numbers and partial number of your card or something would be used to show the genuinity. So always cross verify the basic methodologies of these fraudulent attacks. Proceeding further, we have just discussed the basic part, but let's talk something in detail, something more reliable. Usually an attacker who wants to hack into your system, your data, or your files or folders. So before attacking, he wants to gather some information about target. So the info that a hacker gathers in the virtual world may include your IP address. The second info would be your operating system. If a hacker can get these two information, hacking into your system would be very easy for him. Right now, in the next 5 minutes, you are going to see a live demonstration on how the hacking thing works. So the first thing that I'm going to display you is how an attacker gathers the information of his target. And once the information is gathered, the second thing that we are going to do is we are going to compromise or hack into a real-time system. So let's see the real demo of it. Now, gathering someone's IP address. How can you get anyone's IP address? So every computer that is connected to the internet is been assigned with a unique identity known as IP address, and every one of us has a different IP address. You can see my IP address appears something like 49. something, which belongs to this particular region. And this is my unique IP address. In order to hack into my system, the attacker should be aware about this particular IP address and my operating system which I'm using. So how can I find the IP address of my victim? So the way to find, let me show you. I just opened google.com in my computer system, and you can see on your screen in the left bottom side, I see India is written over here, right? I very well remember last week when I traveled to some other countries, at the airport when I connected to the Wi-Fi and I opened Google, it was showing me their respective country's name. So Google is actually following me and giving me customized version of the website of that particular nation wherever I am present. Right now I am in India. Google is showing Google India on the left bottom. So how Google knows I am in India? It's because the moment I open this website google.com and I press the enter button, Google has found that the visitor is visiting from this particular IP address which belongs to India. So Google has given me a customized version of the website for India. That means Google is recording my IP address. Now the big quick question arises over here is, who gave permission to Google to record my IP? Why Google is recording my IP? So let me tell you one thing. It is not just Google. As per the guidelines of IANN, ICANN and all the governing bodies and authorities on the internet, it is allowed for any website on the internet to record your IP address. So that means whether it's Google, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram or any other website of the world, the moment you visit the website, the first thing that the website does is stores your logs in the hosting server and it sees that who the visitor is. Now let's come back to our part. I was talking about a hacker hacking into your system. So the first thing he have to do is gather your information. In order to gather the info, he wants your IP address. Now how a hacker can get your IP? So all a hacker can do is he can force you to click on any of his website. As I just told you that every website records the IP. Even the website which hacker is going to send you will be his personal website, and if you click on it, your IP will be recorded. I have a very personal and a beautifully designed website. You can see on your screen my development team has done a good job. They have hosted my website. They have done a lot of good work. Now, what I can do is I can simply ask you, any one of you, can you see my website? Can you open it? Can you open on your link? So, as I told you, you will simply open rizwanonline.com enter. The moment you click on this link or the moment you open the website, the first thing that will happen is I will get your IP address. Since every website records the IP, even my website records, and the log is going to come to me. In the similar way, I have created an IP logger website. Let me visit that website for you. So what I'm doing is I am opening a random website. Now this is one of the websites which you created. I just hosted a random YouTube video on it. Now I log into my control panel in order to see the log of the visitors. I just logged into the database and I see there are so many visitors on this website. So let me come at the bottommost line and I see visitor number 3698 has visited the website on 28th October 2022. This is the current Indian Standard Time. It says 12:49 AM and it says the IP address is 49.this who have visited the website. And if I go on whatismyipaddress.com, you can actually see that this 49.this IP actually belongs to me. So it is recorded in the database as I have visited that IP logger website. And not only limited to this info, it also says that the visitor is using Mac operating system and the person has visited the website in Safari web browser, not in Google Chrome or Internet Explorer. So that means the visitor's IP log is being recorded. Alright, the way to get IP, you can see and understand the countermeasure yourself. The countermeasure includes never click on any untrusted unknown link received from unknown sources. One single click on the link is actually enough to hack you. I will come to that part. As of now, we are just on the information gathering part. I would rather say the technical term for information gathering is footprinting. So footprinting is nothing but pre-phase of attack in which the hackers gather the information of his target before attacking it. So the info gathering basically includes finding IP, finding operating system, and you can see what a normal IP logger link can do. There are ways to create IP logger link. You don't need to completely buy a domain, get a hosting and then upload your site on it with IP logger scripts. This can be done by some of the ready-made things available. There are many IP logger websites like Grabify, IP Logger, iplogger.org, and many others. These websites allows you to use any of the random websites of the internet to use as an IP logger link. So you can simply copy any website link, paste inside this website, which is Grabify IP Logger. You can find it on Google. The moment you paste the URL, automatically a shortened URL will be given to you that will be acting as an IP logger link for you. So definitely this can be considered as a practical task, and it's a very simple thing. Anyone can definitely give a try on this website. Very similar to Grabify.link, there is one more website which is iplogger.org. You can also use this website just to test out how the IP can be tracked or recorded of anyone using a simple website. As I said, countermeasures against all these social engineering attacks: never click on any suspicious link, be careful about unfamiliar phone calls, and many similar basic countermeasures are used. Proceeding further to more technical part, let's talk about the term malware. Now this term malware stands for malicious software. Malicious means harmful. Any software that is harmful for your computer is a malware. So virus is harmful for your computer, so virus is a type of malware. Trojan is harmful for your system, so Trojan is also a type of malware. Ransomware is also a type of malware. The term ransomware is derived from the physical world environment. Ransom amounts were usually demanded by kidnappers after kidnapping someone. In the virtual world, ransomware does the similar activity. The moment ransomware is infected in your computer system, it is going to lock and encrypt all the files and folders that are present inside the victim's computer system. Unlike a virus or a Trojan, it is neither deleting your data nor stealing your data. It is just encrypting it at your own place. And then a message pops up demanding the ransom amount in any cryptocurrency like Bitcoin, which is usually untrackable. And the encryption is of so high level that in order to decrypt it, it may take ages. So if you don't have backup, there is no way to get your data back. Either paying the ransom amount to the hackers, which is again not a guaranteed deal that your data will be given back, or losing your data is the option. Right, so these kind of things comes up. Now no longer or very limited of ransomwares are actually demanding you to pay using credit card. However, majority of the ransomwares are taking money using cryptocurrencies. How these ransomwares can be infected in your system? So it can be done using USB, which is already infected. It can be done using emails. Email is considered as a very, very big medium to transfer of such malwares across the world. And of course, other ways to use some of the links to do that. Okay, so now I will be coming to a live example of displaying you how typically a hacking works using a random malware. So I am displaying you a real-time example of an attack that can be done using the Trojan part of a malware. So a typical Trojan will be having two parts. Let's call it part number 1 and part number 2. Part number 1 of the Trojan should be injected in victim's computer system, and part number 2 will remain with attacker. The moment this part number 1 infects in the victim system, attacker can get entire remote access of the victim. If you haven't used any of the Trojan in the past, or if you haven't encountered any of the Trojan, I prefer studying using the old time Trojans which are available, so that you don't get confused and learn every detail of it. So let me display you a demonstration with a very old time Trojan that is available with me right now. You can see on your screen there are two files present. This file is named impfile.exe. Another file is part2.exe. So of course this is the part 1 of the file, and this part 1 needs to be injected in the victim's computer system. Let me become the victim myself, and I'm going to run this file in my own computer system. And you can see the moment I double click on it, nothing happened. I press the enter button again and again, and I think this file is not working. This is what the victim will think. But that's it. Since I entered or double clicked on it, the file is running, and at this given point of time, the Trojan is running in my system. And any person from any corner of this world can actually remotely compromise my system. How? Let me take you to part number 2. I just double click over here, and you can see part 2 opens multiple buttons over here. All I have to do is enter the IP address of the victim and press the connect button. In my case, since I am the attacker, I am the victim, I am entering my localhost IP, and it shows the message connected to the system. You can see there are so many buttons available. Show image is one of the button which allows you to browse any image and pop up onto the victim's computer. You can play any particular sound, you can control the mouse. There is one option with the name enter the website name. For example, I enter google.com and I click on go to URL button. The moment I click on this button, automatically in the background google.com is opening inside the web browser. So in this fashion, any website can be opened on the victim's computer system, and simultaneously it can be done multiple times. So you can see in the background automatically Google is open. I can open it 2 times, 3 times, and in the background the website is opening continuously. So there are some other important option for the hacker. There is one tab with the name file manager. Now this particular option allows the attacker to download any particular file, steal any data from the victim's computer system. And how all these are happening? It's because of the footprinting, information gathering, where the victim is being forced to click on this and he ended up getting infected. There are some other tabs as well. For example, message manager. This particular option allows the attacker to communicate with the victim. For example, I can type a message, surprise, you are hacked, and I click on the send message button. The message pops up on the victim's computer system, and victim won't have any clue how this is happening. Right, so you can see how this particular malware can work and can infect on a mass level. So be careful with the methods that this Trojan can be transferred. It can be through some malicious links, it can be through emails, it can be through expert kits like softwares which are downloaded from torrents or any other random sources like pen drive which is already infected. These are the methods that can be used to infect. So precaution is always better than cure. Make sure that we do not allow these things to enter inside our system, so that our own system, our personal data and our organization is safe and secure. One more example of malware I am going to display you very quickly. Very similar to the file which I just displayed you, which was impfile.exe. I have one more file over here with the name android.apk, or there can be a file with the name something like impfile.apk. Now, as you know, the extension exe works in Windows, DMG works in Mac, APK works in Android phones. If I send this APK file in on anyone's cell phone, the moment victim clicks and install it, his entire cell phone can be remotely compromised. Very similar to like we did in the Windows computer system. I have a cell phone in my hand in which I just installed this impfile.apk file, and let me show you how remotely this particular thing is giving me the access of entire cell phone. So we call this as a spy tool. I simply sign into this DB and you can see my entire cell phone is being remotely accessible, and the information which I am seeing over here is number 1, call logs. Now this particular call logs option allows me to view all incoming, outgoing, and missed calls data with date, time, and duration. So you can see what this particular thing can do. The second option is messages. It can read all the SMSs. You can see entire mobile is remotely accessible. We can see the phone book. We can have the call recordings. There's a tab with the name mic recorder. Now this is a very dangerous feature in majority of the malwares for the cell phones. This mic recorder feature allows the attacker to remotely trigger the command to switch on the microphone of your cell phone. And no matter whether your call is on or off, your mic will be on and surroundings can be recorded, which will be sent to the hacker. Then we have location tracking for the live GPS location. We have so many other things, including keystroke recorder, turning on the live camera without notification on the Android cell phone, and lot of other things. So this small APK file can do such a big damage. I hope you understand the countermeasure very well. So precaution is better than cure. Do not allow this on the first place to get infected in your system. If it's done, you know how big the damage can be done. The last part that we are going to display today is about a case study, the recent hack that happened in a very famous company, and the attack consisted of something very big, but it was using social engineering attack. It was not a full-fledged zero-day exploit or a vulnerability which is being exploited. And it is said that the hacker tried to report it on bug bounty programs, but it got disqualified since social engineering is not considered as a bug bounty eligible program many a times. So attacker somehow purchased certain credentials of VPN using dark web, and using certain methodology, he spoofed himself and claimed to be an IT team employee, and the system accepted him inside. And once he logged inside the network of the corporate environment, he ran certain Windows exploits which were vulnerable inside the internal network, and he got the access to the PowerShell script as an admin. And by simply signing in, he got many admin credentials, including G Suite, Amazon Web Services, Slack, and much more. A basic diagram explaining the thing, how the breach happened. So it includes certain privilege escalation attacks as well. However, entire domain remote access was being granted inside the network. So all this started with a small social engineering attack. And being a part of your organization, it is not that if you are not cyber safe, that means that it doesn't mean that you are only compromising, but it means your network is also getting compromised because of the mistake of one particular user sitting inside the network. So it's the responsibility of every person, every individual who are a part of the organization to at least have the basic cyber awareness, do's and don'ts, so that you don't fall prey and victim to such attacks, indirectly securing yourself as well as your organization. So it is not just the responsibility of your IT security team to secure your organization, it's the responsibility of each and every employee and individual who is a part of the company. And that's how we conclude this particular technical part. We are opening the dais for question answer round, and then we can take it further. So I request the admin to take over the mic, and we can proceed with the further.
Okay. Thanks, Rizwan. That was a great presentation, and I think it really helped a lot of the people here just understand. We've all heard about Trojans, we've all heard about malware, but to see it happen and to see what the other side of an attack would look has given a lot of insight on what the repercussions of just a small misconfiguration or a small mistake in your cybersecurity posture could lead to. So thank you for that. And to all of you who are watching now, I'm sure many of you are thinking that this is something you want to improve in your organization. This is something that you need to do because you understand the requirement, but you don't know how to get about it. Well, we'd like to One second, I think our presentation has stopped. Let me just get that back online.
Should I switch on the presentation for you?
Yeah, could you just do that, Rizwan? All right, thanks, Rizwan. So, like I was saying, now that you're thinking about cybersecurity and you want to get started, but you don't know how to get there, well, let me introduce myself and our company. We are ACE, and we are a managed cybersecurity solution provider, and we have an experienced team of CISO level experts who are going to be there to help you through every step of securing your organization, and we can help you assess your your organization security posture and recommend remediation solutions to improve its cybersecurity posture. We've won over 28 awards over 14 years of expertise, and it makes us a top-notch managed security services provider along with services for public cloud, virtual desktops, and application hosting. Rizwan, can you just go to the next slide? With automated security management, our experts create a fortress of protection around your organization. You can focus on your mission critical business that you know how to do well and leave cybersecurity to ACE experts who offer 24/7, 365 days a year oversight. Some of our solutions include an SIEM with a 24/7 SOC team, email security, which is provided in partnership with Proofpoint, a DNS filter in partnership with Titan HQ, and EDR in partnership with CrowdStrike. All of these, ladies and gentlemen, are market leaders and on the top of the Gartner quadrant. So please do look into our offerings and connect with us if you feel like this is something you want to, get for your organization. Rizwan, we do have a few questions in the chat box that just came up. So would you be willing to just answer them quickly? I'll just read them out to you.
Yeah.
What can the present malware do, and how do I know if I'm being hacked? Additionally, if I am being hacked, what do I do?
Okay, it's a very good question. As I was continually saying, precaution is better than cure. That first of all, in first case, we should not allow the malware to enter inside our system at all. But by any chance, if you fall already you are infected, what can be done? So first thing is finding it. Second thing is removing it. Now, how can you find it? If it's a computer system, there's something known as port scanning. Every computer has more than 65,000 virtual ports. So just by entering certain commands like netstat-n in your command line interface, it can be your terminal window, it can be command prompt, it can be the command is same for all the operating systems. You can find the list of open ports in your system. Every service, everything works on some of the other ports inside your computer system. So suppose when you open your website on HTTP, it resolves on port number 80. If you open Google HTTPS, it will open 443 number port. So whatever services that you're having or running or using will have some of the other ports. Now in this fashion, if you enter netstat-n by closing all the services inside your system, still you find some of the ports are open, you can simply go on Google and search what works on this particular port number. And if you find any malicious malware kind of thing that is using that particular port, all you have to do is close that particular port. Very similar to Task Manager, you have something known as Port Manager. You can download it from many open source websites and you can kill that port. After that, you can also search online for the result of removing or eradicating completely that particular type of Trojan, because every malware has a different infection process. Every malware has a different set of targeted regions where it will infect itself, and every malware will have a different removal process. So just an antivirus is not going to help you out over here. Of course, using a good anti-malware or antivirus is required. However, manual removal is also must at the same time. So all you have to do is, once you find what particular malware has infected you using the port number, you can simply uh, find the removal process online of that particular Trojan, because there's so many Trojans that infects in the similar fashion. The same applies for your cell phones as well. In cell phone, finding whether you're infected or not is a bit tricky and tough. All you have to do is make sure try to notice if your battery usage has suddenly degraded, if you find like your phone is heating up very quickly. Also at the same time, if you find something like your system process overall is like utilizing a lot of resources, so this particular thing is going to give you a hint whether certain additional thing is being utilized. It is not always that if this is on, that means you are infected by a malware. There can be some other options which includes scanning your cell phone using an antivirus kind of thing that will find whether your phone is infected or not. And once you do that, automatically you will come to know whether you are infected or not, and you can take your precaution measures accordingly.
Okay, Rizwan, we've got another question that just came in. I'm using Windows Defender. Is that enough to stop high-level malware, and does that provide me with enough protection?
So again, very good question, but I would say just relying on a defender or an antivirus or a firewall is not what I recommend. There are many FUDs. The term FUD in hacking world stands for fully undetectable. So there have been many new malwares which are being continually made, which allows all things to be passed. So if you are a victim of such newly invented exploit or a malware, your defender is not going to help you. Of course, having defender is required, it's a must program, and it's a basic security method, but at the same time, precautionary measures and countermeasures which I have shown is must.
All right, we have a few minutes left, so if there's anybody with a few more questions, we can take them on. Otherwise, just as I said it, we've got some come through. Can we detect ransomware attacks beyond the endpoint? I think whoever has asked this question means that once the ransomware is already infiltrated their endpoint, can it be detected? What do you do to stop it, I guess?
There are deception technologies available as well. So before the attack, it predicts, but in ransomware, it becomes very tough since it's a very quick infection, and the moment it's infected through any particular medium like email, usually it goes undetectable because it acts as a very genuine program. It is just a software which is being used for certain process and start encrypting. It is not damaging, destroying, it is not stealing, it is not deleting, it is just manipulating with the data. So that's why it's become very tough and undetectable majority of the time. There have been few of the very common incident which uses certain zero-day exploits of Windows and some other operating system. If you see, there was one of the very famous ransomware attack which compromised the maximum number of systems across the world, WannaCry. Then after that, there was Patrap ransomware. All this infected many mass systems across the globe. So at times it gets detected in some of the things, but not every time. However, one can rely on certain websites like virustotal.com. Virustotal.com, you can use this website to upload any particular file and scan it using 50 plus different antiviruses and many other anti-malware systems. So you get the result. And at times, if you find any FUD program like downloaded a malware from some darknet or exploit community or a hackers forum, you can just try testing it. If it's completely undetectable, that means it's a FUD. But any FUD is not FUD for entire life. Definitely the antivirus upgrades themselves and automatically the patching is done.
Okay, thanks, Rizwan. One more question. This one's an interesting one. If someone has brought an endpoint or a laptop or a PC and has requested it to be added to the network, how can we be sure that it's safe? Is there any other measures to be taken other than using your normal EDR or antivirus software?
So here I recommend no longer relying just on the automated things. There should be a cross or a manual verification is must. Unless you are a very big organization having multi systems like a very huge network, manual integration is must. However, there are certain softwares which are live which provides a facility like second factor authentication for the identification of a known devices. So any device which is willing to be a part of your network should be granted with a second verification of access, and if their identity is secured, it is using a key. There are many new applications in the cybersecurity frameworks are being developed which are providing this as a facility. But I'm afraid not much things are available with some of the reputed brands, including the products of Cisco and many others. They are having some of the other configurations parameters, but there are many third parties which are being developed. So that can be relied as an automated tool. However, manual intervention, manual verification is must to identify if your network environment is not very large or not very large.
All right. I think that was our last question. Let's just see things. Oh, somebody has asked us, what is the dark web?
So I would say dark web is the place on the internet which is commonly inaccessible by common people. You can't access it simply using your Google Chrome or Safari web browser. If you Google darknet and just click on the images part, you will find that it actually shows that 97% of the internet is dark web. So it's kind of a thing where it's the universe and we are staying on Earth. So we are just the 3% is what being actually used. Combining all the websites, including Google, the social media sites, the networking sites, and so many other things, all things combined is just 3% of the internet. The remaining 97% is on the dark web. Now, how to access dark web part? Dark web do not have extensions like .com, .in, .info, .biz, the websites, the top level domains which we use, known as TLDs. It has a separate TLD which is .onion, O-N-I-O-N. And the links are something which looks like a hash character key, and it can be opened only using a particular web browser known as Tor, T-O-R. Again, it's an open source, you can get it completely free of cost. So once you download the Tor browser, it comes as a bundle in the Mozilla Firefox as well at times. So once you download that, you can actually access the .onion sites inside darknet. And as I said, it's 97% of the internet, it's very huge. There are multiple search engines for darknet, but finding data is not an easy task. There are many scammers on the darknet. All majority of the illegal activities happening on the internet is being done through darknet, right from some of the big names of drug marketplaces. The world's biggest drug marketplace, Silk Road, was on darknet. Then there have been many illegal activities going on, including arms, ammunition, weapons selling over darknet. There was a forum which was providing service to hire a hitman, hire a hacker. All these were running on the darknet environment. So it's a very shady part of the internet, but it's a biggest portion of the internet where all majority hackers are present and all these illegal things are. So that's the darknet.
Yeah. To Rizwan's answer, I just want to add that if anybody is familiar with software as a service, ransomware as a service is also available on the darknet. That is where the world is right now. Rizwan, one more question by one of the attendees. Is a firewall strong enough to stop a hacker? If so, what level should it be focused on? L2, L3, L4? I think they're talking about the OSI levels. I don't know what this is about.
So I would rather say, if you see, the most important part in firewall is misconfiguration. So if the firewall is not properly configured, it would be the biggest task. So even in VAPT or vulnerability assessment that we do basically has the portion of configuration review. So how your firewall is configured matters a lot more than what firewall you are using and what level of configurations you are doing. So you can definitely create the zones inside it, based on what type of firewall you are using, and how it is configured is what required. But the major part is like if you have a hardware based firewall, so make sure like devices inside the network environment, whitelisting, blacklisting is properly being derived. If you have a software based firewall, I would recommend you to properly define the server list and the hosts that are running and how it is configured. Plus, there are some cloud based and other firewalls also available, which provides you with options of more customization. But at the end, again, the overall story ends to the part of how it is being configured.
All right. And I think you've inspired a new cybersecurity enthusiast in one of our attendees. They're asking, what certification would you recommend to get in cybersecurity to, get knowledge about attacks and get an in-depth understanding of cybersecurity?
So I am the person like we are also like completely into training and cyber security certification services. However, I still recommend, being running a company of training institute as well, I recommend online learning or self-learning. I would rather use the term self-learning is the best way to do. Google is the best teacher. So you begin with the basics, have the basic understandings, and definitely like if you want to extend your reach, you can surely connect uh, us or the companies which are providing you the training in your local region. You can find them on Google. There are many certifications. However, if you talk me about the topics, I just want to name 4 important pillars in order to begin your journey into cybersecurity world. So there are 4 pillars. The first one is learning network security. Number 2, learning email and application security. Number 3, web security. And number 4, cyber law. The law related to cyberspace. Now, cyber law is no longer limited only to hackers hacking into system. It includes law, compliances, guidelines, right from ATM machines, IoT devices, drones, CCTV cameras, and smart devices, mobile phones, and computer systems, laptops, etc., including internet, websites, emails. So it's a very wide thing. So why learning cyber law is important in this is because when you're learning hacking or cybersecurity stuff, you should know your limits. You should know till what extent you can test. Even if you get someone's project, what is your limit? What are you simply cannot run a DDoS attack and bring someone's system down in order to test it. Right? So working on live environments, so all these things matters a lot. So these are the 4 basic important pillars. However, I can recommend you can surely visit my website as well, which I was displaying you. You can simply go on Google and search for the details, and you can find the certification or the training contents, which is pre-designed and kept on the website. So you can communicate with us and we'll surely provide you with that.
Okay. Thanks, Rizwan. I think that is it for questions. If any of our attendees have any more questions, please shoot them through. We are slowly running out of time. Okay. All right. Well, while we wait for any last minute questions, Rizwan, thank you so much for this presentation. It was a great talk. And like I said before, I'm sure that everybody is going home with insights about cybersecurity, how it works, and what its effect is in our daily lives. And I think you've definitely given people some food for thought. So like Rizwan was saying, those of you who are looking for training or looking to learn more about cybersecurity, please do visit his website. It's called rizwanonline.com. And if for any of you looking for corporate cybersecurity solutions, please do visit our website as well. You will find the link. We are Ace Cloud Hosting, and if you have any doubts, please feel free to contact us about the same. Thanks, everybody. Have a nice day. Thanks, Rizwan.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone.